Okay, it's August 10th, 2014. I have a theory that extraterrestrials should try to make contact with us on August 15th, 2015, or perhaps even this year, 2014. And so it's August 10th, about 4 days before I need to make the measurement. So I'm doing a test run of my radio telescope, which I built for free with various things that people were throwing away. Um, Here it is. I've got it pointing at the moon, and you'll
August
notice
5th, 2012. I
if
wrote a
I
short story last night called
turn on the
Gypsy
meter
Shamanism
or
and
the
the
gain
Universe about the AE-35 unit, which is the
of the
unit in the
radio
movie and
signal,
book 2001, The Space Odyssey, that HAL reports will fail and
about
discontinue
9.5
communication
on
to
the
Earth.
meter.
I decided to read the passage dealing with the
The
event in
signal from the moon.
2001 and
Every
how the
week they're
ship
pointing at
computer
certain
reports it
periods
will
because the
fail
moon
within
generates
72
more
hours.
radio waves
Strange, because
than
Venus is the source of 7.2 in my
the
Neptune
stars do.
equation
Now it's pointing
and
at
represents
Sagittarius,
failure, where Mars represents success.
and
I have
I'm
said around 1990 that Manuel had me help him
getting
install an
messages
antenna for
from my
television reception at his
Granada,
nephew's house in the Sacromonte
and
Gypsy Caves of Granada, Spain.
we get
In the
about
act of doing
five
this, I became
questions
telepathic with
left.
him. We call it the AE-35 antenna from 2001, A Space Odyssey. However, the
Every radio
extraterrestrials
observatory
undermined the
needs
spell
an
on a plan
electronics
that was
lab.
initiated even
I
before
have
I
a
knew
very modest
Manuel.
one,
In 1977, they sent a
little
transmission
transistor
from the direction
radio,
of the constellation
a
Sagittarius that
voltmeter,
was received
a
by the
circuit board
Search
for
for
gypsum wood with
Extraterrestrial
some cut
Intelligence,
nails in the
SETI.
holes, and then connect
It was the
circuit
gypsy
with a
shamanism of
phone.
Manuel that led me to discover that the signal should repeat
Ashtray,
itself on August
smoking,
15th,
notebook,
2015. This gave
and
me the idea of building a radio
electronics
telescope,
components.
essentially an antenna not unlike
As
the
you can
one I
see,
helped Manuel
first thing I
install,
built here is
so
an
I could receive
RC
the
circle.
predicted
Here's about
message.
1140
It is
and
July 5th, 2014 now.
1141,
This gives me a little over a year to build the
and
antenna, mount it,
I get the
and put it
telescope running.
and put in a tracking drive and
Signal
to interface it with my
extraterrestrials.
computer as well as
So
find
we're
software
after
that will
midnight on the
process the signal.
16th.
The act of building this antenna should not subvert Manuel's spell, but rather alter its agenda so
Here's
that Manuel and I and the extraterrestrials are all working together telepathically with a new proposed agenda, my guess rooted in the concept of welcoming humanity into the
okay.
stellar
2 minutes
community.
past 12:30 a.m. and I'm gonna close down.
It is my belief that Manuel's idea of the AE-35
12:07
antenna
a.m.
was a brief flicker of a thought that
Last
Manuel never
that I can
carried much
see.
further than what I laid out in my
Very
book, The
faint
Reason.
sounds. I can hear.
However, it is my belief that the
Now it's
extraterrestrials realized his notion of
coming
it
up
was
on
capable of
about
much more profundity
11:25
than he
p.m.
ever
on
intended for it,
August
just as I
15th.
have.
Um,
It is also my
it'll
belief that
be
extraterrestrials
midnight
have
soon,
realized its full
and I will
potential, and that if I
start
want to learn
the
what it is, I shouldn't look to
measurement of
Manuel, but rather to
Sagittarius
the
with my radio
extraterrestrials,
telescope
who I believe have buried its full
for
potential deep into the
August
human
16th.
story that has
My
been
theory
unfolding since I first
indicates
met
that
Manuel 25 years ago.
perhaps um, extraterrestrials will communicate with us on August 14th, 15th, and 16th on um August 14th. Similarly, that may be true for August 15, 14, 15, and 16 of 2015. But I'll be back at midnight to start the measurement. Okay, we're out here. It's Friday, August 2014. We were out here last night on the 2014th, 2015, but it was just past midnight, around 1 in the morning. We were out from 1 until 4 in the morning. And I went to sleep, and we're back out here. It's still the 14th, but it's about 9:09 p.m. Got the radio telescope set up, and we're looking for a message from ETs. I have this theory that they will try to communicate with us on August 14, 15, and 16. If we do not hear from them, doesn't mean they didn't try. My antenna is very crude, And I would need a very strong signal to pick anything up. But let's go out and I'll show you the antenna setup. Here's the antenna setup. There's the antenna. And next to the lantern is the meter. It measures the strength of the radio signal. So this is the system. If an ET sends a signal, that meter will sound. Let's see, it's about 10 o'clock, and this really seems to be picking up some kind of signal. It's reading 6. See if it does anything. You can hear it. It's that high-pitched whistling, very faint. Needles moving. We want something louder than that, and we want it in pulses so that we have a pattern of it that we can figure out as mathematical, indicating it's extraterrestrial. Needle's really moving. I'm looking there's a signal. There's another one. It's looking southeast towards Sagittarius. Needle's really wavering now. It's dropped down to 5. It was at 6. Going back and forth between 5 and 6. Registering something. Let me check if my camera's still charged. That's important. So I don't want to lose charge. Well, there we go. 2. Wow. 3. Long signal. 4. Wow. Maybe we're getting a signal. It's around 10 a.m. on August 14th. My theory suggests we should get a signal on August 14th or 15th or 16th of 2015. Okay, I'm going to recharge my camera. We'll call that sequence of 4 beeps. We'll measure the spaces between them and see if there's any mathematical significance. The universal language, mathematics, between all life in the universe. There it goes again. 1. Should get another one. The last one came in 4 bursts. It's 3. 4 bursts and 3 bursts. Okay, make sure this camera's fully charged. Okay, now what we're going to do is measure the exact position to which the telescope was pointing when we received the signals, which were 4 bursts, strong bursts, then 3 bursts. So in order to measure the position to which the telescope is pointing, I'll have to use my compass and sextant. I'll write it down in here. What do we have? August 14, 2015, between 10 p.m. and 10:15, 4 strong bursts, then 3 strong bursts. So I'll go measure just where it's pointing from north. Remember to add 13 degrees to the amount from magnetic north, because true north is 13 degrees west of magnetic north, so you add 13 degrees to the compass reading. Okay, I went out and measured where the telescope's pointing. It reads 140 degrees south of magnetic north. Use the sextant, measure the altitude. I get that the altitude is 30 degrees, plus 30 degrees above the horizon. 140 plus 13 is 153, so 150 degrees south of true north. 180 degrees is due south, so it's a little bit southeast.
Okay.
Inches in the salad. You want some?
Yeah. But well, I don't know if this is going to do anything. I mean, wait, is that another star over by it to the left? It's gone now. There was something near it to the left of it. Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ian Beardsley reporting to you for the first time about my UFO saga. I've written about it, but now I'm filming about it because it's beginning to unfold in an interesting way. Um, it all has to do with a couple of sibling hawks that were born in this area about 5 years ago. I've been watching them, trying to photograph them when I can. It's not easy. Um, let's take a look at example 6 here. This is a nice photo I got. These hawks were born together. Um, there are two of them. I only get one at a time. Let's look at this other example, example 7. This is nice. And it's all happening. My blog is called Microcosm because the microcosmos, the microcosm, because it's all happening in my own backyard. So it's a micro universe. Let's look at example 5 of the hawk right there. So basically, what started to happen here? Well, it's been unfolding since about 2012. Um, I just wrote in my blog, when I saw the hawks, and there were two of them, I have photos, which I'll show. There were two of them at odds with one another. They were in the line of sight of my so-called black orb sighting, which I also have a photo of, and I'll show that. Reporting the sighting to MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, the case number was 67958. Now, since those digits can be arranged as 56789, I looked up the MUFON case number, and it was a sighting at 10:17 p.m. in Utah. Now, 10:17 p.m. ET was the time of the SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, WOW signal, which was the alien signal. They received a signal that seemed, it had all the earmarks of an alien signal, and they called it the WOW signal because the scientist on duty, when he received it, wrote WOW next to it. So a WOW signal, and so at 10:07, so this sighting 56789 that I found in MUFON, you can see their case sightings. They have thousands of them, and I looked for 56789 because it was the consecutive integers 56789. And that was in Utah at 10:17 p.m. Now the SETI WOW signal was at 10:17 p.m. Eastern Time, and now the signal was in Utah, which is home of the Mormons, and at the center of Utah is the city of Nephi. Now Nephi in the Bible is Hebrew for Anunnaki, and many of you may know who the Anunnaki are. They're hypothesized to be extraterrestrials that were here about 4,000 or 5,000 years ago that gave us science and agriculture to the ancient Sumerians. This is the thesis of Zecharia Sitchin when he wrote the book, The 12th Planet. And so Nephi is at the center of Utah, and that's Hebrew for Anunnaki. Now, I concluded that the WOW signal was sent by the Anunnaki, thereby, with that connection, the Utah sighting at 10:17 and the WOW signal at 10:17, and the hawks leading me to the hawks and my sighting of a black orb, which could have been a bird, but it doesn't really matter anymore. Whatever happened, nature pulled me into this Utah sighting that happened at the same time as the WOW signals, the WOW at the same time as the WOW signal. So why is this significant that it's connected to the Mormons? That Utah is a Mormon state, and Nephi is in its center. They have a lot of biblical names for their cities, and so why is it important that it's a Mormon state? The Mormons have a testament where Jesus visited the Native Americans. Now, it was on the 23rd of September, 2015 that Pope Francis just visited the United States and gave speeches in support of the poor, which I applaud him for. But on the other hand, he canonized a man as a saint who was abusive towards American Indians, as I understand it. He may have been a little more than abusive. So he was here, and on the 23rd, and the 23rd and 27th, I have seen word of it on the internet that was supposed to be the Armageddon or the end of times. Now 23 times 27 are Manuel numbers in my theory. I call them Manuel numbers. And 23 and 20 times 27 equals 621, which is I call Levinson's number in my theory. But that's something else. It's related to this, but I'm not going to go into it. Now, it was no wonder that the two hawks. I spotted a black orb. Then the next day, in the line of sight of the black orb, the two sibling hawks showed up and landed on the branch right in this line of sight. It's the first time I've ever seen the two of them together, and they were fighting. They were at odds with one another. Now, why is that interesting? Okay. They are siblings, and they were pitted against one another, and Zecharia Sitchin's Sumerian myth studies suggest that two extraterrestrials who were Anunnaki, who were siblings called Enki and Enlil, were at odds with one another. And what they were at odds with one another over was that they were at odds with one another, and that Enki wanted humans to be free, and he wanted them to succeed as a people, and Enlil wanted to enslave humanity, which they did a long time ago. But Enki wanted to free us, which he did, and Enlil wanted us to stay slaves. Now, so these two birds were pitted against one another, and they're brothers, or sisters, I don't know, but they're siblings, and so just after sighting that the two hawks were sighted the next day after I saw the black orb. The black orb sighting, just before and just after it, I saw a black helicopter, and black helicopters are typical to UFO sightings. And basically, also, I have this theory about the SETI wow signal that it would repeat itself on August 14th, 15th, 16th of August 2015. So I built a crude radio telescope for searching for it on those days, and I received a signal on the 14th of August 2015 that came in 4 bursts, about 84 seconds apart. The average of the... Let's see, it's about 10 o'clock, and this really seems to be picking up some kind of signal. The time of each burst and average, and you get on the average, they were 84 seconds apart. And none of the bursts deviated much from that 84. But, so I graduated high school in 1984, and my science teacher was a Mormon. The sightings were on July 9th and July 10th. So the black orb I saw on July 9th, 2015, and the black orb I saw on and the two hawks in the line of sight of the black orb appeared on the next day, July 10th, 2015. Now, we got to see these photos, and I've been showing them throughout this, and I just wanted to report on that, and also I've finally got some footage of what seems to be a UFO flying towards Venus, so I can put that in this film too. Well, I don't know if this is going to do anything. I mean, Wait, is that another star over by it to the left? It's gone now. There was something near it to the left of it.